something that was going to do, and I planned strategically for it. So it was not it I happened to land. So there's a book that I read, Brian Tracy's book. It talked about the homing pigeon. It says how human beings are the only creatures aside from the homing pigeons, the whole universe, who have the ability to go to a target on subconsciously. And I'll tell you why. They did an experiment about the homing pigeon bird, and this bird, they wrapped it in, they put it in a cage, wrapped the cage, put it in a truck or a lorry, wrapped the lorry, and drove to a very far distance. When you release that homing pigeon, this homing pigeon will fly out, go into the air, circle round the air, and start flying straight to wherever you picked it from. Remember that this homing pigeon couldn't see, didn't know where you're going, but it's going to fly back. That's just nature, how the bird is wired. And human beings have that exact ability to get to a particular point without even being conscious of it. So people, everything that I am today are things that I planned for myself, what I knew I was going to be. I'd always written it down. And I'd advise anybody here to get something called a book of dreams, where you write down your targets, your goals, your aspirations, everything. And I'll say that because this is something that I have not put to practice, not just for me, but for other people that I mentored in school. I was a Project 4.0 tutor, and I was part of the people who actually started in mass communication. And I know that that's one of the reasons why we had 18 people come out with the first class, because we had MCSA Digital Library, we have the Physical Library, we have Past Questions Library, we have tutors, we have tutorials, all free, ensuring that people excel academically. So when you get into school, for those of you that are in year one or you're into year four, maybe you have a dream, you have one thing, everything that I did not plan for, I never got. I didn't even plan to get an A in my project. I said, let me just get a B, and I got a B. And my project was in that, and that B was what stopped me from getting. Maybe if I got a 4.70, but if I had gotten an A, I probably had like a 4.8 something. I mean, graduated with best BGS, but although I'm not quite particular, and I'll get to that shortly. So like I said, get a book, write it down, write your name, who you are, what God has called you to be, not what any other person calls you. And then when I was in from uni, from year one, every time, every semester, I would start mass 121, mass 1 1 this, mass 1 1 1, and I write in front A. All my plans, all my desires, all my dreams was A. There was no place that I set it down. And every time I get the opportunity to tutor people, I tell them that as well. Plan for A. If you now get B, that's fine. But don't plan for B. If I get B, well, there was a particular course that was quite difficult. And instead of me to keep being Chelsea, I went ahead and said, if I just get a B, I'll be happy. Guess what? I had a B. And I was not happy. Why? Because a lot of people were not having A's, people that were not even as, dogged as I was. And I just knew it was because I planned for B. So don't plan for B, don't plan for C, plan for A. If you land on A, great. If you don't, that's also fine, right? But plan for A, because your planning will also motivate you in your study, in your participation in class, in how you take your assignments, because you have a target. You know you want this thing. You're not happening. It's not just going to happen, right? So plan for it. Have your book of dreams. I had a roommate in my final year. She was in year one, very intelligent girl, and her first semester results, everyone was always playing, she was always going out, and then when her results came out, I was seeing I said, what's going on? Why would we get in those kind of scores and everything? And I sat her down and I taught her as well, write all your courses down, write A in front of all of them. And guess what? This is not joke. I've said these are principles that work. Esther came back. I had graduated by then. I had already done a convocation. Esther sent me all her results. And guess what? She had all A's and one B. And so it was not because Esther was not smart in the beginning, but Esther didn't have a vision in front of her. So she was going to play. I was Esther, where are you going to? I'm going to sports center. To do what? I just want to work. She was just going different places. But now that she had a vision, Esther won't come back to the room. She's studying. She had found new friends. And that's very extremely important. I don't think I was very serious. That's when I was telling Fadila, when she was asking where do I like to study, my bed. I'm a very chill person. I don't like stress, but I'm dogged. But my friends helped me, even with the ATM classes. Left to me, like I might consider it. But classes are so important, extremely important if you want to graduate with it, because not everybody has those desires. So I had friends who would motivate me when I don't feel like, sometimes I didn't even know my timetable. My friends would be the one say, Chelsea, where are you? Time class, keep seats for me, everything like that. So your friends are very important. So yeah, that's how Esther ended up. But it's very important to note that school is not everything. I'm very glad that I grew up in a house that my dad had always encouraged me to work, to strive, to start earning money, to start looking for a business, to start changing lives, impacting people. Because when you graduate, your first class doesn't mean that much. I mean, it means a lot, right? But who are you as a person? Imagine you being popular and broke. Imagine you being, oh, first class, you don't have a great job. You don't, it's sad. And when I got into the University of Lagos, when I got into mass comm, I'm the kind of person that observes people a lot. I looked at the first class students, and I think the people that didn't graduate first class, I'm seeing them, those ones are excelling. They've started businesses, maybe some of them are content creators, they're making 6 figures, 7 figures. And I looked at my first class graduates, they're just basic guys, you know. Studying basic things, So I'm like, some of them even just loitering around helping lecturers. And I asked myself a very important question: Chelsea, is this the life you want? And I said, no, I don't want that life. But I also wanted to excel because I knew that I'm not doing this for anybody else. I'm not doing the school. I'm not working hard or trying to get first class because I want to get a good job. That was the least of my worries. I didn't even want to get a job, you know. But I was doing it because one, I knew that to be a voice, to be an influence, I need the clout. Um, sorry. I needed the clout. I needed to be able to inspire people. I needed to be able to help other people. And I've just always been that person. Look, I just like to excel. So I just happen to want to get a first class because I wanted to prove to myself that I can. Like, because when I was getting people saying, mass com, people don't graduate to first class. So, and I'm like, yeah, I can. Why can't I? And so that was another reason why I got that first class because I had something to prove to myself and I made up my mind and I did it and I came out, I did it. Everybody was telling me, you see, secondary school, you're very smart, primary school, you're very smart, but when Unilag will show you, Unilag. So I'm here to tell you that nobody has the right to tell you what you can and can't do. In fact, when people tell you you can't do that, that should be enough, that should be motivation for you to do. So don't that thing, that shame. Maybe somebody talked down on you, so you can never achieve something, you cannot pass. This course is very hard. Use that. Someone called you a blockhead. Someone said, "Oh, your parents are this, your parents are that." Use that. Refine it. So be getting angry and saying, "Oh, crying, sad about what?" Nobody gives a damn about your sadness. So use that. Refine it, just like how electricity can convert into heat, right? Use that, convert your pain or your shame, your anger into motivation, passion to become who you want to be. So back to what I was saying about not just being an excellent student, you must be an all-rounder. When I was in school, I was also an athlete. I ran in my department. I was also in social committee. I was part of the social committee's dinners, awards. I was also very active in church. I went to campus ministry, Believers Love World, and in my church, I was quite active as well. But I did everything, and I had a balanced social life. I'm not the kind of person that you say, I'm reading. I just want to be. No, me. I'm the life of the party. I'm not a club person. I'm not a shaku, but I did enjoy hanging out with my friends, and I would go out if there's a party. I'm gonna be. If it's my friend's party, I'll be there. If you're having an engagement, I'll be there. Mind you, my NGO was also taking me out a lot, so there are sometimes I couldn't make it. But this is where priority comes in because you must learn how to prioritize. So when people say, Chelsea, how did you balance being a student that was doing excellently well, being a general secretary at some point, being a class rep, also being participating in church, also I was running my makeup business in school. My makeup business helped me a lot in school. I was also doing other jobs. If you see my CV, most people that have, tried to employ me or engage me, they always say, "Are you sure this person is an undergraduate?" Why? I had like a list of things. I've worked in this company as content lead, social media, and I was what? How old was I? But I was good at what I was doing. Do you understand? So they're always like, "How did you do this?" So that's why I knew that when I come out of school, when I graduate, I wouldn't be looking for a job. When people say graduates complain and say, where do they expect me to get 5 years working experience? I wrote a post about that on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. You can connect with me, and I feel like some of my posts will help you. My name is Chelsea Jegede on LinkedIn. Actually, I'm Chelsea Jegede everywhere because I'm the only Chelsea Jegede in the world. So, but yeah, I wrote about that, and people talking about where can they get 5 years experience. And my simple question is, if you ask me that question, I've worked for maybe over 10 years before I even graduated because I was working. I worked in church. I worked as a volunteer. I worked on different projects. I was a volunteer. I was serving in foundations. I was going out. So that is work. People don't understand that everything you do is work. and you people downplay themselves. You don't package yourself. You worked as a cleaner in church. You used to clean your chairs in church. I call myself a facility manager. Didn't you facilitate the venue? Didn't you manage that venue? And you put it on your CV. You did something with someone, you volunteered at a foundation. And this foundation, you don't own this foundation, but this foundation, you know that this foundation has reached over 1,000 beneficiaries. And maybe a content director, you write content creator, maybe you want to just take picture. Content creator at so foundation that has reached over 2,000 beneficiaries, blah blah blah. Whether you're the one that reached the beneficiaries or you're not the one that reached beneficiaries, do you or do you not work with a foundation that has reached to that amount? Yes, and that shows capacity, and that's what people are looking for. They're not looking for the first class. Yeah, there are a lot of first class people everywhere academically, but how can you be a first class student all rounder? So that takes me back to what I was talking about in school. Be active. Don't say, oh, me, it's just school. I'm here for my school. That's why I go to school. When you go to school, when you leave that school, you face reality, and you have to ask yourself: did you make friends? Do you have network? Did you participate in any activity? You don't come out for social. They say NAPS is having a sports week. You are not there. NAPS is having social. You are not there. You're not even doing anything to try and make help. You can go to one of the air schools. Hello, how can I volunteer? That thing that you are looking at is very, very light. Is something you can add to your CV. You organize, so maybe they say, "Oh, just hold this cloth for us." That is a lot of work. See, with ChatGPT now, that's why you must understand AI and prompt. Go to ChatGPT, say, "Give me a fancy name for holding cloth for an event." I promise you, ChatGPT will give you names. You will write it there. You always used to hold cloths for your department, but the way you write it and the way you describe that, and you tell ChatGPT, help me describe, tell them all the things you did, held the cloths, followed the president around, came back, went to buy. You see how ChatGPT will structure, because maybe sometimes you don't understand the work you do and the capacity. Because when you put your CV, people ask for your CV and resume because they want to understand your capacity and what you can achieve. So always look for opportunities in school. Don't be a student and you're just my book. Because also remember that if you are a loner or if you're alone, you will fail. And that has so many times. Many times, maybe I didn't even know that we're having tests because people knew me, because I had friends, because I was around. People, they would come, Chelsea, what's up? Where are you? I had to go for a job. Chelsea, start coming back now. And I was also the lecturers knew me. So if anything happened, I'll be like, sir, I had to go for a job, blah blah blah. They knew me to be a serious student. They knew me. So if they don't know you, I don't know what you can't succeed the way you want to succeed, right? So look for do things that count, prioritize. Thankfully for me, my department, we had already structured in a way that Monday to Wednesdays were the only days that we had class. So when people ask me, Chelsea, how did you balance it? Of course, I couldn't do it without the help of God and without the Holy Spirit. Those are things that I hold dearly to myself. I am a committed Christian, so I talk to God a lot. I speak in other tongues. I'm doing so many things. But God taught me how to prioritize. And if I'm teaching other people, I'll tell them, prioritize. When it was time for school, I'm giving my 100%. I'm going to be at class. I'm going to be listening to that lecturer like this. Because there's some things that lecturer will say, right? If you know you don't have a photogenic memory, there are some things that lecturer will say that will stick or give you an idea when you get into the exam. There are some tips that they would also say that if you're not there, you may not get it 100%, right? So I'm in class, except, and I prioritize, there are some lecturers that I don't go for. No this and no peace. It's not that you went for all the class that you want to pass. There's some lectures that I don't go for, but I don't advise it. But there were sometimes I had to pick my job or a job over a class. If I go for a makeup job at the time, maybe you're going to pay me 60K. You think I'll now pick? Don't tell your lecturers I said this, but I'm gonna miss that class. Except I know that we have a test, and that's also priority. Maybe a test, or it's a serious lecturer. I cannot, or they do attendance. So, if I know this is a class that I can miss, I gamble it. I can go for the job. And then sometimes I'm this founder of my foundation, and so I have like maybe projects 5 times in a year or 6 times in a year. So I plan it. You can't be acting like you're overwhelmed and everybody's against you and you're just so, oh, I'm tired, school is this. So you just say, when parents say something like, I just want her to focus on school, you're doing your daughter or your son a disservice. Because you should be able to prioritize, be able to plan, okay, I went for class from this to this. What other side things are you doing aside from school? How are you making money for yourself? What business are you doing for yourself? Because you don't want to be a liability to yourself and to your parents. When I was in school, by second year, I wrote a post about how my dad told us that by second year, we are going to start paying our school fees, and how that gingered me, how that motivated me. And in the end, my daddy continued paying my school fees, man. He kept even giving pocket money, but sometimes he wouldn't. And I wouldn't ask. And he knew that his daughter was good. By this time, I was already sending by year two. I was already sending my parents things. And that's one thing I encourage you to do. Send your parents things. Send them gifts. Even if it's airtime. You can't afford airtime. You bought them something, food, a snack. You teach yourself, train yourself, give yourself a sense of responsibility, right? So I was doing that. But when it's also time for sports, they didn't clash with my classes. I'm going to run. Because when you're engaging with people, when you're in committees, when you're really, you learn, you're exposing yourself. You are learning capacity, you're learning leadership, you're learning how to work in a team, you're learning how to be organized. But if you just lock yourself in a room and you're just there, pressing your phone, pressing your phone. I'm using pressing because that's a common word. Just on your phone, you're on your phone. You're not growing, you're not learning, you're not exposing yourself. So go for programs. They're having some symposium. Go. I literally won a grant in my last year, 700K in that University of Lagos. Why? Because there was a program happening I pitched, shot my shot, shot my shot. And that was how I got the internship that I got, which now led to a job. So immediately I graduated from University of Lagos. In fact, I had just written my last paper when this company called me. And this is the top 4 companies of advertising agencies in the world. And they called me and they were like, oh, I should resume. I wasn't even eager to resume. Especially when I heard it was an internship because I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't have intent. I've paid my dues. I'm not doing. But for some reason, I went. And I'm glad I did. Because he has now exposed me to opportunities, international opportunities, global opportunities, got me to work on several brands. But because I also proved myself worthy and I was at the right place at the right time. So make the most of your experiences on campus. You will never look when you go, you know that thing where you say, I can't wait to finish in lab. I can't wait, I'm so tired. It's true. But when you graduate as well, you would always be looking back and like, but make sure that when you graduate, you have no regrets. Like you have zero regrets. You don't say, why didn't I do this? Why was I involved in this? I have zero regrets. I did well academically. I impacted people's lives. I have a foundation. I'm changing people's lives. I had a job. I was happy in school. The challenges come absolutely 100%. But you must be able to stand. And that's another thing. I'm dogged. Be someone that is dogged. Things hit you, you stand back and be disciplined. Look, I can read as much as I'm chill. I can read for 2 days straight. When I mean straight, I'm just reading. I'm reading into the morning, I read to the night, I can read into the same night. I won't sleep, I'll be reading, I'll wake up, I'll go for exam that morning. But that was not a norm. But I had the ability to. I've done it for like maybe 2 exams, especially when I had to go for a job or I had to go for an engagement. Where I remember I was having one of my last papers, my final year. I had a speaking engagement on the island. I had to go for the engagement, come back. Make I got back, I started reading. Although I'd already read, so it's not the reading of just wake up one morning. So find your reading style. I'm a pressure reader. During the semester, I'm I'm just chilling. In fact, something funny happened when I was in year four. My new roommates didn't even know that I was a first class. They didn't even think I was serious. They didn't even think that this girl had vision. They knew I was doing a lot of things. But they'd be like, you will not read. You will not read. Remember, I was telling them that if I start reading here, all of you, none of you will be able to start. I'll just be laughing. It was one time when my friends then came out talking about our scholar, just come and teach us this. They were looking at me like, so when exam period came, so what happened? How I usually read. Once it's 2 weeks towards the exam, I lock myself. You know when you say lock in, I lock in and I make sure I read all my courses through twice, at least 2 times, pali to pali, how they say it, before the exam. So when it's not exam again, then there's now an intentional reading, intense reading, double down on the locking down, right? But I've read everything twice, so I have a passive memory of everything. Now, when it's time for the exam, I'm trying to put this into my long-term memory. I'm memorizing. And I always tell people on my LinkedIn, you find some of these posts as well. How to study. I may not be able to get into it everything today because there's a lot, but there's a way you can study. Use acronyms. I use acronyms a lot. You can see in the exam I'm singing, but obviously under my breath. Because some of you like to sing. You can remember a song from 2003, but you cannot remember your book. Why? Use it. Who said there's a way to study? Eh, I've done so many acronyms that I can't remember.
No, it's
But you
true.
make those acronyms for yourself, and because your short-term memory, long-term memory, you must understand these things. Understand how you read, how you study. If you also know that you don't like studying with people like me, I didn't like studying with people. Find somebody that you like studying with. Trust me, it will help you. Even if it's one person or two people. I had a friend, Frances, in my third and fourth year, we locked in. and we helped each other. Because there's something things that you may not understand, but if someone teaches experience to you, you get it. Oh, and then you too, if you're someone that helps, because I used to like to teach. If when I talk and explain, I understand it even better. And then another thing is, don't forget ChatGPT. ChatGPT will help you study. Explain this to me like a 10-year-old. Explain this to me like a 5-year-old. Use illustrations, explain it to me. You're studying psychology. Tell ChatGPT, break the terms down. Use YouTube. Use you. We are so blessed. There's no reason why people can't graduate with first class if they want to. You have tools. Our parents had to trek, go to the one library, read one. But you have tools at your disposal. When I read the first time after my exam, when I'm locking in, I have a regimen, like a routine. After I now read my notes and study and cram, I do the acronyms. After I do the acronyms, I must study MCS Digital Library, just check for extra notes. I must do past questions. I'm telling you, must do past questions. When I do past questions, I must also use ChatGPT to explain certain terms for me and additional information. So when I'm writing, there's no way any lecturer will see my paper and know that this person went extra mile. So the difference between an A student and a B student is just the extra effort that they put in. But imagine you putting all that energy and then you graduate and then you have nothing to prove, right, for yourself. So also have that balance for your school life, your social life. Be social, speak to people. How are you? You see, it can be one person that will save your life one day. One person that there's a time that I forgot a whole topic. I didn't even study. And someone like, Chelsea, which one is sometime? Many times. Chelsea, how far you did not write this? So this one is here. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. And that's what saved me. Do you understand? So there's just so much, but I believe that everybody can achieve whatever. The Bible says, as far as your eyes can see. If you say that, I remember this year, after working for Dentsu for like a year, I said, I want more. I want to land an international job, you know. Okay, I just saw that question. For psychology, I'm not sure, but I think that your ESCO should be able to do that for you. But in like 5 minutes, I'll be rounding up and I'll give time for like questions. So let me just put that out there. So I said I wanted to land an international job and I locked in. That was the only thing on my mind. Human beings, once you put your mind to something, remember the homing pigeon. Whatever it is that you want, just tell yourself, okay, Jabba, that I actually have another engagement. I'm actually an event, but I'll see what I can do. But you tell yourself, I want this. This is what I want. Look, I wanted a first class, nothing. My friends always say that if Chelsea wants something, she will get it. Be that person. You want this thing. If you don't get it, it's like if I perish, I perish. Where some people are so lackadaisical. You tried, it failed, so you stopped. Hey, not me. I'm going to go at it. I remember saying that I want an international job. I'm going to post on LinkedIn for 15 days till I get it. Guess what? I got the job. And I wasn't even looking. I didn't apply. It was just one of the things I wanted this year. I want this job. Right? I want a job. I feel like I wanted to prove something myself. I don't want to be a local champion anymore. I'm doing well here. I'm doing well here. Getting an international job is going to seal the deal that Chelsea, you are that girl. And I said I was going to get it. And I kept on posting, doing my thing on LinkedIn. So put yourself out there. I'm also a social media person. You'll see me anywhere, just Jegede. I think it's only TikTok I'm not active. But Instagram, LinkedIn, have an online presence, have digital footprint. When people look for you, what do they see? If you check Google, you see me. Do you understand? Like, I feel like that's another thing that helped me win my elections back there, but that's another story. But um, if you want something, be dogged. The word is dogged. Be disciplined, lock in. You're going to say, yeah, 2026 year, I'll lock in. That is it. You're going to say, is the year you must lock in. That you're going to do well in your academics, you will get A's, you will overget that A. And because there's a way you read, you study when you know you want to get something. There's a way you walk, there's a way you act. So you get that A, you still get a good job. You see, when we graduated, we were saying, you people are, welcome to the labor market, first class graduates. Yeah, come and start selling pant and brown line. And in my head, I was like, so people that are selling pant and brown making lots of money. There's some people that are doing 9 to 5, But I was just saying, they're trying to make fun of us. You now enter and say, no, I'm different. I'm not just a first class graduate academic, I'm a first class person. And before I even left school, I already had offers. And imagine when the convocation now came out, and it became viral and all the blogs were carrying us. The way my inbox was full, I had to start. I was stressed. You know when you're stressed from which job should I pick? My boss was here telling me, just you can't go, you can't go. This other person is calling me, they're giving me offers, sending me this is how much you want to pay, this how much. I'm going to say, oh no, no. And I stayed in my company, not even because they were paying me the best. If I was not a lot, but because I knew what I wanted, the experiences, the exposures, the people that I'll meet, the influences that I'll get. So you must be smart, be wise, don't chase money. Don't chase money. If money is the reason why you're not going to get a job, don't chase money. Volunteer a lot. Volunteer to NGOs. Volunteer to to companies. Volunteer at your school, your association. They are saying, please, we need people to come and volunteer for this thing. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Do you understand? It doesn't help. So make sure that you volunteer a lot. Make sure that you're involved. You participate, and don't forget God. God is everything to me. How I was able to balance everything and not run mad. Because people say, just how do you do it? Even sometimes I ask myself like, how do you actually do it? And you are mentally okay, and you don't look like what you're going through. Because sometimes it's a lot. I'm working 2 jobs right now. My current job and the remote job that I'm working. And then when I look at myself, I'm like, I'm above some people that have been working. Like, I know how much I earn, and I'm like, God is amazing, because and God cannot give you what you don't ask for. God cannot give you something you don't want. He's not going to put it on you. So if you don't want an international job, it's not going to come to you. If you don't want first class, it's not going to come to you. What do you want? Ask God. This is what I want. Be specific. This is what I want. That's why I say have a book of dreams. In my book of dreams, I wrote all my plans, long term, short term, what I want to earn, what I want to be, who I want to be, where I want to go, the place I want to be. And I still, right now, I still have dreams for myself that I have not yet achieved. But I'm still dogged about it every year. And sometimes it's okay to fail, right? When you fail, you get back up. Let's say you were not able to achieve so thing like this. It's fine. Go again next year. We go again next year. We lucky next year. It's okay. And don't be pressured. Don't compare yourself with anybody. This person is doing this person. You don't know what that person took or went through to get that what they went. Don't pressure yourself. Even me that I'm talking. Don't not say, this Chelsea, she's doing so much. Me, I'm just there. No, you're not just there. What I would just not advise is that you just stay like, but if you're grinding, if you're working, trust me, you're gonna get there. So don't give up on yourself. Don't give in. Lock in. I think that this one, I'll just keep saying lock in, lock in. If you don't remember anything, remember lock in. I remember to be dogged. Don't give up. Don't give in. Maybe you failed a particular course. You can change a lot between in one semester. Your end semester, if I not even had it, I'll just say something. If you're in year 1 here, lock in. This is the best year to get anything you want to get, because the years don't get easier. But also, if you're in year 3, don't just think that everything is down or everything. No, you can also lock in. But I always advise year 1, it's easier for you, so do it now. And if you're a final year, it's also the simplest. You are chilling. I had 5.0 in my final year in year 3, and in my final year, except for my project, that one that. So you can get it. And in my final year, I was also working. I had worked so much, but also then as balance. I remember a time, because I always tell people, go work, be consistent. Balancing is very important, because when I was working 2 jobs at a particular time in my final year, they were messing with my head. They were demanding. I'm a student, so, and that's another thing. Tell people I'm a student. This is what I'm able to do. I was a student. They were day ahead, and it was not even the demands. It was they were not normal. So I told them, I'm leaving. Thank you. Money is not my problem. Thank you very much. I'm gone. And I also knew that I had to lock in even more, because this is my final year and I needed time. So that's where priorities come in. What matters the most to you at that time? At that time, my academics meant the most, because I was locking in, because I was about to graduate. I knew that I can't mess up what I've been spending 1 year, 2 year, 3 doing. I have to lock in now. So I locked in for my final year. I locked in year 1, locked in year 4. I was good. So I feel like in rounding up, I'll just say, believe in yourself. This meeting is not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, because I'm actually not even at home or at the office. I'm out. I'm at a program. But I made up my mind that I was going to be here. And I don't play with my time. I don't also honor every invitation, right? But I felt in my spirit that this was meant to happen, and this is something that could help somebody, and that is why I'm here. That is why I had to. I told, is it Toby I'm speaking with, the person who engaged me? He really tried a lot for you guys, by the way. I had to get to another place away from because there's no network there, just to be here, and just to do all this. So I want you to not waste your time, because your time is also very important. As much as my time is important, you spend like 30 minutes listening to me just rant and talk and talk and talk. What are you going to do with it? The next time I see you, the next time I hear about you, be the news. Don't just watch the news. I stopped watching the news a long time ago, because I said, Chelsea, you have to be on that news. You have to be the news, right? So be the news. It's in your academics, in your business, in your finances. You can be anything you want. The Bible told Abraham. Bible called Abraham. And sorry, I'm always saying Bible. This is what I know. So, but I'm not apologetic. But I'm just saying for some people that may not understand. When he called Abraham, God told Abraham that look, how many stars can you see? And Abraham was like, as far as your eyes can see, that's what I'm giving you. That's one thing that my work in life has taught me. When I didn't want an international job, I didn't get one. When I didn't want to get a side, I didn't get one. Only when I said I wanted to do something or lock in or get something, that was the only time that I got that thing. So aspire to be who you want to be. Have big dreams. I always tell people, have big dreams. You want to be a millionaire, you want to be a billionaire. Yes. Because if you don't aim for the stars, you may just settle. I want to be a billionaire. Me, I always call myself future billionaire, and I'm on my way. If Christ died, I'm on my way. And sometimes people laugh at you. You just do what you can do, right? Use your talents as well. I love writing. Writing has helped me a lot. I love speaking. Or even growing up, people used to laugh at my voice. Because I forgot to add I'm a voiceover artist. I don't think there's anything I don't do. Content, I do everything, and it's possible. It's possible to excel in everything. So now that the year has started as a student, lock in. Start early now. Your executives or your department, they already organized something so beautiful for you. It's like this. Lock in. Tell yourself every time you wake up that I'm going to do this. And in your book of dreams, speak to yourself. You are Maybe I'm seeing Excel or Mercy. Mercy, you are a star. Mercy, you are smart. Mercy, you have a sound mind and a retentive memory. Keep locking in. Excel, you can do everything you want to do. Excel, you will excel this year. You will excel, right? So I think that with these few points of mine, I hope that I'll be able to convince you. um, I don't think I confused you, but if I did, I apologize. That the world is your oyster, really. You can do anything. And I believe in all of you. And I really hope that next time I hear about it, I'm like, oh, psychology had the best. What will make me really glad is knowing that you maybe had the best results in a while or ever. And it's possible. Even if it's just this 40 something of us or 30 something of us that are here down this call, do it for me. If you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for me. Right? Make up your mind that what is psychology? People say mass com, you can't pass. If it's a name, you can do this, you can do. What is mass com? What is psychology? Don't let anybody deceive you. Say, oh, it's so hard. It's so that your head will fry. The head will fry. We cook. We boil the head, but we come back. Use tools. Use ChatGPT. Go to your seniors. That's another thing I did. You don't have to make the mistakes that your seniors made. Go and meet them. How can I answer this question? What do you think this lecturer would like? Look, I have a lot to talk about, but that's another story entirely. Yeah, maybe for another time. But for now, I think I'll just have about like 10 minutes for questions. I think Fadila will handle that. Thank you guys so much. I love and appreciate you all. Feel free to follow me across all platforms. I'm also available there. You can send questions. I might take a while to respond, forgive me, but I will definitely get to it. So thank you very much, Fadila. Thank you. Is it Toby? Someone's engaging with me, and everybody else on the call. Thank you so much. I'm still on call to take questions. Thank you, Chum. I love you too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. That was a powerful, it was concise, but it was very, very lovely. And I'm sure a lot of us have so many things, so many take homes. If you've not been writing, you are very wrong because no, she has shared so much with us, and I loved every bit of it. Thank you very much. So if you have any questions, kindly drop them in the comment section or raise your hand so that I can take the questions now. We're going to be taking it very quickly so that she can answer. We have just 10 minutes. I'm going to give 1 minute for people to, drop their questions or raise your hands. Just let me know if you have questions. All right. So I've seen Excel's hand. Excel, you can unmute and ask your question. Please make it very snappy so she can answer.
Sure, no problem. Hi, Chelsea. Hi, everyone. My question is, even with planning, because I am someone who does not start anything without a plan. Everything I do must have a plan. Even with planning, I still get overwhelmed. I can count like 2, 3 semesters where I have been overwhelmed with a plan, with a schedule, with strict time deadlines and everything. How do you deal with overwhelm even though you plan, even though you're executing the plan, but you're still overwhelmed, you are still tired, and you just want everything to end because it's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. And I feel like it's very valid to feel like that. There are times I feel like that. And honestly, you need a break. One thing, people that know me know that I watch, the time when it's exam, I watch K dramas. I like, that's when I'm watching it. That's when I lock into, because we're human beings. You have a breaking point. I sleep when I have to sleep, honestly. I watch K dramas. Because why I watch K dramas, not like I'm on a K drama Facebook. If I read, when I say I'm reading throughout the day, it's not that just my brain, my book is just my face just in my book. No, if I read, I can say, oh, Chelsea, read for 1 hour, reward yourself with Instagram scrolling for like 10 minutes. Go back to reading, eat. I'm chilling. I don't stress. People see when it's exam period. People say I'm scared, I'm anxious. I say, for exam, why? I'm happy. I'm happy to write the exam. I feel like it's an opportunity. I don't know how to explain it, but you must be your own joy. You must be your own peace. So find things that help you. What makes you happy? Ask yourself. Maybe you go and buy yourself ice cream. One day when you're feeling like, everything is, and reward yourself. Reward yourself. You worked so hard. When I'm done with exam, my friends and I, we take ourselves out. We chill. My room is looking at me, say, just you're watching K drama. I say, what's with 10 minutes, 20 minutes of K drama due to the room? Would the K drama now minus the book in my head? But I mean, everybody has different brains. So I also don't want to advise anyone that's not used to that. But why I'm saying that is because I also declutter. I use that because there are times when your head you feel hot or you feel overwhelmed. There are times I feel overwhelmed because I'm doing a lot of things at the same time. I'm organizing projects. I have to work. I have to do this. I have to do that. So I just calm down. Sometimes it's okay to rest. Take a break. Oh, I'm not doing anything for this period. I want to take a break. And one thing that planning does that people don't understand, you don't plan to do everything. That's where priorities come in. You can feel overwhelmed, but you should ask yourself, what are you doing now that can be done later? If it's exam period, that's not the period I'm going to be having selfless projects. That's not the period I'm going to be taking jobs. They know, even my clients, my customers, when it's exam period, it's just that sometimes I like money, but I can tell you that, okay, I'll come and do the job, but I can only spend 2 hours. This makeup now, I'm telling you. And even there was something that I did one time when I was having exams. I recorded myself, right? Recorded myself studying. And guess what I did? On my way in the Uber, I plugged my headphones and I was listening to my own voice reading. We have no idea. Some people don't know how creative some people have done to study. And because I needed to study that way because of the course, that man almost is like he gives what they call German, and also like the objectives, but objectives here, but he you need to get a very high score, like 50 something over 60, because he scores really low in your CA. So if you want to get an A, you must get at least 50 something. So I needed to remember every single thing. I was aiming for 60 over 60 in my exam, and that's fact. But so what? As I'm on my way to my job, I'm listening to myself, hear myself play back, just like music. You can make your voice as soothing as possible. You can even make yourself funny, hilarious, But I'll just say to you, Excel, that when you feel overwhelmed, it's okay to take a break first. Do things that you love to do. Maybe you're reading for a while. Go outside, take a walk, just calm down and tell yourself it's okay. And one thing I'll say that panic does, it makes you, it's like when you have a pile of clothes on your bed, it feels too much. But when you fold everything or you put them in the right place, all of a sudden, everything seems better. So it's the same thing I'll say, that sometimes everything seems overwhelming because it's just scattered all around the place. Write a to do list, go to shop, read for 5 hours, attend to customer one, attend to customer two. I also have in that book of dreams, I also have a to do, because I have a lot of things that if I don't plan, I would not do everything well. So with that to do now, I'm not able to. When I do want something, I take it off my list. I do this one, I take it off. So also taking off your list gives you a sense of peace, sense of accomplishment, and I believe that with that you should. And also you have God. Ask God. God help me. I feel overwhelmed. Help me. I feel like if you go that way, you'd be able to solve most of your problems.
All right. Thank you very much for that. I hope we all got one or two. I'm going to be taking just two more questions because we are out of time. Buddy Geshe, please quickly state your question and make it brief. Thank you. Are you there, Buddy Geshe? Okay, seems he's not there. Okay.
Thanks for the message, like for the leave. Like my question is that if you have issue with publicity, like facing the crowd, but you are the type of person that you want to be like want that kind of person that you want to speak outside, but you have phobia for coming outside to express yourself. So that is my question.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think, can you mute
I
so
think
that
can you
there's a
mute so that
feedback?
there will be feedback?
Okay, thank you. So, for if you have a phobia for crowd, I think first thing that you should do is speak to yourself a lot. Many times people are you the reason why you have a phobia for crowd, you must understand, ask yourself why. What do you think is going to happen? Is it that you feel like you don't speak well enough? Understand why you have a phobia before you start doing anything. So if it's that you feel like you don't speak well enough or you people don't like your voice, practice speaking. Practice being a voice that is like people want to hear. So practice a lot. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Talk on your way. Talk to everybody who cares to listen. And these people that you're comfortable with, talk a lot. When you talk, the more you talk, the more confidence you have in your talking. Another thing is that you must understand who you are. That's what I always tell people. Right? Say positive things about yourself. You know those things people call it affirmation. I feel like me, Charles Jegede, I feel like I'm one of the best people in the world. Like I honestly, and I think that my family helped me, people around me helped me. You surround yourself by people that tell you positive things about yourself. Don't people that say a blockhead, is it your head or there? My friends know I don't like you calling me as a joke. Or I can laugh the first time. Second time, people say, lol, I'm not another. Don't say that. Because I'm planting seeds into my life. Very soon people start to believe in it. They are not fine. Say as you are, and that's your friend. Hey, my dear, I'm very, very beautiful. I think I'm very beautiful. And sometimes you need to, but even if you're not fine like that, when you start believing that you are fine, there's the way you walk, there's the way you talk, there's the way you dress. People will start believing too that you are fine. So believe that you can speak. Believe that you're the best speaker in the world. If you don't believe in yourself first, people can tell. So that's what makes you feel like, oh, you're shy. If you have confidence, it's what you call mad confidence. I have mad confidence. Like I can stand talk to thousands of people. Like why? Because I feel like I'm that good. I'm that girl. So you must have that confidence. It doesn't come by once. It comes by practice. It comes by locking in. It comes by doing it every time. And there's a hack for people that don't like speaking, like to talk to people. All you need to do is look over their heads or look at one person that you really like. Tell that person, please come and sit there in front. I'm going to be talking. Look at that person. The person is nodding their head, looking at you. Because trust me, shyness doesn't get you anywhere. And maybe if you understand that, you'll not be shy again. Most of the opportunities that I've gotten, most of the sponsors I've got from my NGOs because I worked to somebody and I told them this is what I do, this is how I do. I remember speaking to the GCO of one of the top tech agencies in Nigeria that sponsored on our project. And I met him at an Amala joint. And I spoke to him. And you know what something he said? He said, do you know the reason why he invited me to his company, to his board? And at that time I was just 19. And he said, do you know why I am so impressed with you and I want to help sponsor you? He said, because you can teach in 2 minutes what many of these people that I pay in this room can't do. So I was a teenager, but I was very confident in the vision that I had. And I knew that somebody had to listen to it. So it's not about how the English you speak. We're very confident. You can convince people to buy a lie. That's something that sales and marketing to also expose you to. You can actually convince people even when you're not sure. I remember when I was in secondary school as well. We used to do something called pep talk every Friday. And I used to be one of the queens of pep talk because when I come in, there's a way I even walk, there's a way I carry myself. Like I'm that girl. I'm walking in, everybody starts to clap. They're clapping. My principal literally has to be like, shut up, keep quiet. She hasn't even started talking. You're already clapping. Oh, man, I was like, because they know. And then when I said, good morning, everyone. My name is Chelsea Jegede. Already, I'm telling everybody, keep quiet. Somebody important is talking. And there's a way you talk, and then everybody listens. And there's sometimes, even when I was speaking, I didn't even know what I was going to say. Because sometimes I forgot. But instead of me saying, when people forget, they're like, already panicking, already looking everywhere. When I forget, I'll say something like, think about it. Pause for a minute. Am I right? Using cues. You can all that think about it. Me too, I'm thinking about it too. But obviously I can't let you people know that I forgot something. So I'm saying think about it. Take a moment to think about it. Look back at it. Oh, am I right? Or I walk to the crowd and do some sort of demonstration like, let me see. It's a lie, oh. Nothing is in there. I don't remember anything. But confidence alone convinces people. Sometimes they didn't even hear what I was saying. It's just English. The fluency, everybody, wow, they just think that you must be that person. It's the same thing with exams, writing. The way you write, sometimes your lecturers don't read all you write. They read the beginning, they read the end, scan through the middle. If you start well, you finish well, you're good to go. So that's what I just say. Keep practicing, believe in yourself, speak to yourself a lot, and nothing or no one can stop you. Don't be afraid of anybody. Nobody. What can they do? Nobody can do anything to you if you believe in yourself, anyways. So I hope that answered the question.
Fantastic. Believe in yourself, speak to yourself a lot. All right, so I'll be taking one more question from the chat box. The person is talking about not having a supportive family that does not understand what they are doing because they didn't study medicine or nursing and that's what their family wanted, and they tend to downplay whatever the person is doing, and they tend to discourage the person from applying for any, maybe internships, job applications, or roles. So what advice do you have for somebody like that?
Amazing. I can say this because I was also in your shoes. Growing up, because I'd always been very smart. My dad wanted me to study IT or something. I remember growing up, I said I wanted to be a lawyer. And then he said, lawyers are poor. How can I study law? That's how I moved from law. He said I should study IT. IT is the next big thing. I said, okay, oh, I joined science class, but guess what? I didn't flow. I wasn't happy. I wasn't content. I knew what I wanted. I knew that I'm a speaker. I knew that I was a communicator. I knew I was a media person. I'd always been a child presenter growing up. So I knew. And one day my mom called me and said, Chelsea, you're not happy. And I said, yeah, I'm not happy. Thankfully, my mom was supportive. But I'm getting somewhere. And she said, switch back to what you want to do. Chase your own dreams. And I did. I switched back to art. My dad didn't even know. It was when he saw my report card that he saw food and nutrition. He saw this. He called me, said, what is food and nutrition? And at that time, I was preparing to go abroad for uni. My dad and my mom had a big conversation. No, I'm not going to spend money and, for her to go to any abroad for mascot. It's not even this. So sometimes some African parents, they don't know. And honestly, you must always remember that they are doing it from a place of love. It's not because they think that they hate you or they really do. They really just want you to do well. So what did I do? I had to prove to my dad, prove to my parents that I knew what I was doing, and that I am going to be like that girl. I'm going to be, good at what I'm doing. So what happened? I locked in. Right, I started going for jobs. I started having opportunities. I was presenting. People started inviting me for this. And then one day something happened. I was speaking to so my dad was introducing me to somebody, and he said, oh, this is my daughter, she's studying mass communication, she's a communicator. Have you heard her speak before? Have you ever heard her do this before? I was surprised. I was looking at him like, this is not the same man that was telling me. I just looked at him, I was smiling. I was like, you see. So sometimes you need to prove to your parents too. You don't look for support in other people. Look for support. You are your number one supporter. If somebody, like I said earlier, because somebody says you cannot do it, you must prove to them that you can do it. So if you chose psychology, or maybe now you just happen to be in psychology, right? And they say, oh, who picks psychology? I pick psychology. And even if you just happen to land in it, how can you want to cry over skill, but you can't make the best of what you can do now. How can you be the best now? How can you do, how can you maximize the opportunities that you have now? And just because you're studying psychology, nobody, you see, I studied mass com, but I can do anything. Guess what? I still ended up in IT. The foundation that I run now, right? We give free scholarships, tech training to Africans, right? Last year we gave over 500 tech scholarships. And now, for someone like me that's giving tech scholarships, you think that I'm not going to be involved? I did a data analysis course in 2023. So you can do it, or you can study psychology, do IT. If you don't want to do medicine, fine, do anything else you want to do. Many parents are still archaic, and my dad now has grown, and he's the one that is always telling parents, don't tell your child that they must study this. Let them go for their passion. Let them go for their dreams. Because imagine Cristiano Ronaldo was a doctor. He could be a mid doctor, but you killed an excellent footballer, a world class footballer. So tell your parents, Daddy, look, this thing I know I'm doing. You'll be proud of me, and that's why you have to grind. Right now, look at my dad now. When everybody was sending him his daughter first class 4.8, hey, yes, that's my daughter. Any small thing, in fact, someone just call me from nowhere. Hey, congratulations! So your daddy said, I say, do you understand? This was the same man that was saying, so it's okay. Let people say whatever they want to say. It doesn't mean a thing. You be focused. Everybody likes success. That's one thing my dad always says. Once you succeed, they are the ones that will start saying, do you know that our son is one of the top 5 psychologists in the world? Do you know that he traveled to cities? Do you know that he does this, he does that? Do you understand? So I feel like that's what I'll just say. And because of time, I think I'll just go to the chat box and see if there's anything I can answer like quickly. Because I know that Chioma asked about questions for your courses. So I think Chioma, you can liaise with your excos. I feel like if it doesn't already exist, they should create it. Anytime anyone has past questions, keep it and digitalize it. Take pictures, scan it, create a Google Drive, turn it to psychology's digital library, you know. For the other questions, they don't say you're doing too much. They keep telling you to come home, sibling is unwell because you feel it. Yeah. So study, do you must learn how to balance and prioritize. You must just learn, you must find a way around it, right? And like I said, prove to them that you actually know what you're doing. Once you start making money, there's a way they can't talk to you because they know that you are doing, so even my parents now, my siblings and I, all of us are doing well for ourselves, so they can't say don't go out. Don't go out. Okay, do I ask you for anything? I don't ask you for anything. So they know that this person is responsible. This person is mature. This person knows what they are doing. We are doing things in the house. You are buying this, you are buying that. They know that their children are safe. Because every parent, you must always remember that most parents don't do it because of anger or hate. They're genuinely concerned about you, right? So once you start proving to them that you know what you're doing, you will have no problems. How you can manage your time effectively and still complete your task. I'd say again, prioritize a lot. Prioritize. Learn how to give yourself goals. This is what needs to be done now. This can be done later. Okay, this one I can start it, but I'll not lock in. Then there's a time for locking in. I'll lock in on something else while I'm passive about something else. And that way you'll be able to. You can also have accountability partners. Say, oh, please text, remind me about this. And one thing I'll tell people is one way to achieve your dreams is by telling people not your plans, but what you want to do. Say, oh, I want to get a first class. I'm going to get a first class. I'm going to get a first class. Why? It holds you accountable. Because now everybody saying, hey, first class. Where is your first class now? So it keeps you on your toes. Oh, I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to buy a car this year. I'm going to buy a car. They're like, okay, you know that you're telling everybody, I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to buy a car. So everybody's reminding you of that car. So you can't give up. So when you want to give up, they'll tell you that, but what about your car? Do you understand? So you can be accountable to people. Recording of this meeting, I'm not sure. um there's nothing to study in psychology, but it's definitely no, because there's a lot to study about really. Yeah, I think I didn't study psychology, but I can imagine the edge that psychology will give you. Even if you don't practice, you have an edge. And don't forget that you can also that can be an edge for you, right? Being a mass communicator, right? Anywhere I work in, I'm an asset because I understand communication perfectly well. I also have a base of tech. I also know how to create videos. And so it's just, don't sleep on what you're doing. Also research opportunities in psychology. Also see, there's a way your mind will work. There's a way you think about things. I think psychology students are quite intelligent because they studied basically what we are all living, breathing. Cognition and cognite everything about your mind and how people think and everything like that. So just apply yourself and be the best you can and let people know. Say, look, I study psychology, so I know what I'm saying. Do you understand? It could also help you in getting jobs because you know how people think. It could also help you in speaking to people, engage people, because you also know how their mind works. So don't just study it passively. That's one thing I didn't do. I didn't study mass comm passively. I applied myself to the course with every course that they were teaching. So that's what I'll say. Oh, how can you join or be involved in initiative? So the name of the foundation is called the Selfless Hearts Foundation. You can check it out on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Just send a DM and somebody will get to you. Yes. So, but please don't send a DM if you are not serious, because we are very, very, very firm. We don't expect a lot from people, but when you join the foundation, we expect to participate. If it's in speaking on the group, sending, but we don't encourage ghost members. I'll just put it like that. So I think with that, I think that we can call it an end, right, Fadila?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for doing justice to every question. Thank you for accepting our invitation to be here. We loved every bit of the session and we are so grateful. You guys, you've heard it. The theme for your year should be you locking in. Like what she said at the beginning of the session, she mentioned that you can aim for the stars and you might land on the moon. So please let that be the theme for the year. Thank you so much, Chelsea Jegede, for honoring our invitation.
Thank
We
you.
love we loved
Yeah.
having you here. Yes, 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 yes. Chairman, that's absolutely right. Link Jegede. For the people asking if there would be a recording of the session, you can watch it live on YouTube at Luma's production. I'll send the link in very soon. Also, we're going to be having a feedback form. Would really love everybody to fill the form. I'll be sending the link to that one too very soon. Please kindly drop your feedbacks. We'll be having this webinar monthly, so we'd want to know what we did or do well so that we can improve on the next one. So please, I've dropped the link. Everybody should kindly try to feed the feedback form. As for the link to the YouTube, I'll be dropping that too very soon. The name is Lumas Production, Leumas Production on YouTube. So I've dropped the second link I dropped is the YouTube link. So you guys should please try to feed the feedback from. We are so happy that you graced our invitation. And on that note, we'll be adjourning the meeting. I hope you guys have enjoyed every bit of it. I hope you have one or two take homes for the session. And before we leave, kindly give Miss Chelsea Jegede a round of applause for the wonderful session she just held today. Thank you very much, Ma.
Thank you, everyone. I really
Enjoy
appreciate
the rest of your
it.
day.
All right, bye, everybody. Bye.